Evolution. The definition of evolution. Evolution is a cumulative change in the heritable characteristics of a population.
Fossil selective breeding.
Evidence for evolution provided by fossil records, selective breeding, and domesticated animals, as well as homologous structures. Fossils, selective breeding, and homologous structures have provided scientists with evidence that supports the theory of evolution. As scientists began to study fossils, they realized that these were not identical, but had similarities with existing organisms. This suggested that the organisms changed over time. Therefore, selective breeding of domesticated animals also provides this evidence, as the domestic breeds have similar characteristics to the wild ones and can still breed with them. As selected wild individuals with desirable characteristics were bred. Over time, this resulted in a more desirable species from a human point of view. An example of this would be the taming of wild wolves, and the selective breeding in order to produce the domestic dogs we know today. This suggests that not only have these animals evolved, but that they also can evolve rapidly. Finally, scientists have found a number of homologous structures within different species. Many bones in the limbs are common to a number of species that are therefore suggested these have evolved from one common ancestor. This also suggests same structure, different function.
A common problem that arises is that populations tend to produce more offspring than the environment can support. The problem that this leads to is that with overproduction, there are less resources, which results in a struggle for survival within the species as the resources become more scarce and individuals in the population will start to compete for these.
How do members of a species show variation?
Members of a species show how sexual reproduction promotes variation in a species. Sexual reproduction is important for promoting variation, as even though mutations form new genes or alleles, sexual reproduction forms a new combination of alleles. There are two stages in sexual reproduction that promote variation in a species. The first one is
Natural selection and evolution related. Well, natural selection leads to evolution. Individuals in a population differ from each other. Some individuals will have characteristics that make them well adapted to their environment, whereas others will have characteristics that make them less adapted to the environment. The better adapted the individuals are, they're more likely to survive and produce offspring, while the less adapted ones are more likely to die. This is called natural selection.
A common misconception is the idea that humans
Evolve directly from apes.
Natural selection results in the better adapted individuals to pass on their characteristics to more offspring, as the lesser adapted ones are more likely to die before they reproduce. Over time, this result accumulates and a new generation is created with the favorable characteristics that makes this species better adapted to its environment. Natural selection has led to the species evolving.